Russian gas through its territory to the EU. I think in the long term, this could be detrimental to Turkish interests if Turkey finds itself dependent on Russian gas in the same way that Ukraine is, or other countries in a similar position. Turkey would leave itself open to the same blackmail and politicization of energy, which has already affected Ukraine, Georgia, Turkmenistan. And of course, in response to that, because Turkey is aware of that, it's been looking for energy from other sources, most notably Iran, of course, but the Caspian is still one of the key areas of focus. And to do that, Turkey needs a stable Caucasus, which is where, of course, we move on to the issue of the thaw with Armenia, which is a huge development if it goes ahead, which is still very debatable at this point, whether or not the ratification of the protocols, which would normalize relations between them, whether they will go ahead. The thaw is a regional process, and it has regional implications. In Armenia and in Russia, and particularly in the West as well, there has been an insistence that the thaw between Armenia and Turkey and the peace process on Nagorno-Karabakh between Azerbaijan and Armenia are unlinked. And I disagree with this very strongly, because they are linked. They are fundamentally linked. In the eyes of Turkey, they are linked, and for Armenia, they are linked. If Turkey were to unilaterally open the border with Armenia, it would decrease pressure from Armenia to sign a peace agreement with Azerbaijan on Nagorno-Karabakh, which would contribute to the maintenance of the status quo there. It would also have serious implications for Caspian energy development, as Azerbaijan, as a response to this, began to look for other alternatives to Russia, as I mentioned, but also to Iran. So I think it's naive to state that the two processes aren't linked at all, because they are. But that's also the challenge. That's also the real problem. Currently, the protocols are being negotiated in the parliaments of both Armenia and Turkey. Armenia has insisted that it will not ratify the protocols until Turkey does. Turkey has now insisted that it will not ratify the protocols until Armenia begins withdrawing troops from regions around Nagorno-Karabakh, or until there is a firm commitment to do so, which there isn't at the moment. So we've reached deadlock. I'm sorry, I'm running out of time here, but what I will say is that the Armenian government is in a very difficult position here. There's a very strong political opposition. The state institutions are a lot less stable, and so it's going to be a very difficult situation for Armenia to withdraw from Karabakh at the same time as negotiations with Turkey. And of course, Russia is also a key factor in this as well. How Russia chooses to respond to Turkey's role in the Armenian thaw, is still evolving. It's still evolving, and that's going to be a very interesting question in the years to come. So just to very quickly conclude, of course, if these processes do go ahead together, if the Armenian thaw and the peace process of Nagorno-Karabakh go ahead together, then Turkey will have made a real achievement in the region. It will have unlocked one of the most frozen conflicts in the former Soviet Union, which has been around for nearly 2 decades now. It will have contributed to a real redrawing of the map in the South Caucasus, and this should be acknowledged and it should be welcomed. But of course, there are many challenges ahead, but I do think we're in a time of great opportunity.
Good, thank you very much, Alex. We've covered a huge range of world geography in the course of this discussion. Not in as much detail as we would like, but first of all, any questions or comments or rebuttals from the floor? Things you'd like to see? Yes, sir.
I have a question to Mr. Jackson. How do you see the future of SIGA? Do you think SIGA will be a relevant organization for Asia and in general Central Asia and Caucasus?
Could you define SIGA?
Just to check, we're on the same, but the Central Eurasian Corps.
Yeah, it's Conference on Interaction and Cooperation for Asia. It's a CASAC initiative. It was launched in the second half of the 90s. In 2010, in June, there was organization of the Turkish